I'm generally a big fan of Jordan Peterson's work. His book, The 12 Rules for Life, is one of my favorite reads. But there's a lot to say about his latest video, A Message to All Muslims. Well, for starters, it's baseless on facts and context. One of Jordan's messages to Muslims is that the Sunni and Shia members must stop their bickering and love one another. That he's somehow come up with the understanding that Muslims, whether Sunni or Shia, could never accept the idea of someone believing in something other than their principles. Talk about a big ego. Well, Dr. Peterson, with all due respect, this is a ridiculously overly simplified and generalized statement based on naivety. It doesn't take a doctorate to know that there is a tyrannical agenda put in place at a political level to create hatred and destruction between unfavorable Shia or Sunni regions. And that the average Muslim, specifically those not directly impacted by those regions' hidden agenda, have no issue at all with befriending, interacting, and maybe even more so marrying someone of the other party. And to show you just how possible it is, as a Shiite myself, I, unfortunately and shockingly enough, had a Sunni bridesmaid. Terrible, right? But I am by no means an exception. It is completely normal for differing Muslims to interact daily with nothing but love, admiration, and respect. The message you should not have been given to all Muslims, but rather directed to those who are secretly funded by powerful individuals. I think you can agree as to who I'm coming up with, in order to create destruction in poorer regions like Afghanistan, Iraq, and Pakistan, and create hatred between the two parties. And if you're still clueless, a simple search of Hazaras in Afghanistan will be more than enough. While to shed light on your uneducated statements made on Muslims who, God forbid, were to befriend a Jew, a simple search on Muslims interacting and living with other Abrahamic faith would have been sufficient. Before the illegitimate creation of the false state of Israel in 1948, regions like Iran, Turkey, Yemen, Iraq, and Egypt all had Jewish citizens living in peace with Muslims. While I personally grew up in Canada, I had many respectful interactions with Jewish coworkers, teachers, and classmates. Their Jewish belief is not my problem. But based on whether or not this individual, be them Jew or not, is a Zionist, then yes, God forbid I befriend them. Because this is a matter of a humanitarian concern for the millions of Palestinian Muslims and Christians whose lives have been destroyed and taken by Zionists. As Ali, the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said, a person is either your brother in faith or your equal in humanity. And so those of the Jewish faith are our brethren in humanity whom we would defend and look after. But those applauding and standing by the Zionist regime and are not friends at all for Muslims and for rightful reasons. As for Muslims befriending Catholics and Christians, by God, what a ridiculous statement you have made. Hundreds of thousands of Catholics live in Lebanon in complete harmony. For some citizens, there may be a difference in opinion based on politics, sure. But do we respect, visit one another's areas, eat from the other's restaurants, and support one another? Absolutely. You do not need to go as far as insisting we find a pen pal when we are literal neighbors. And now, Dr. Peterson, to talk about your tone of voice, the gritting of the teeth, the aggressive scowling, the condescending method of speech. Watch how you speak, sir. Since when is it acceptable for a complete outsider with little to no supporting evidence lecture billions of Muslims as though he has come up with a brilliant idea we barbaric Muslims were so incapable to achieve. Your message, Jordan Peterson, needs to be recalled and revised, because as loud as you are scowling, it is clear that it's tone deaf to the complex history, politics, and agenda Muslim Catholics and Jews have been a part of.